On this instalment of Shaun in the Shed, I'm going to show you how to make a nice coat rack out of burnt wood and polished copper. Just like this one. Hi, I'm Shaun. Welcome to Shaun in the Shed. The main construction of the project is from 3x2 timber, so the first thing I have to do is to trim it down to get rid of the rounded corners and make it approximately 80 by 40 millimeters. With my mitre saw away for repair, it's down to the old circular saw to be able to chop the timbers down to the 2 meters length that is required. I've decided to make the upright octagonal, so I need to take off the 2 outside corners of the pieces of timber at a 45 degree, allowing approximately 40 to 45 millimeters per flat surface. When cutting the outside corners off, I noticed that I needed to use the back side of my table saw fence. Unfortunately, my table saw doesn't come with an American style Biesmeyer fence for its saw, and it's only got a single sided fence, so the back is quite open. So luckily I was able to use just some of the angle iron that is part of the fence to run the wood up against. So as much as I used to love craft time at school, and I used to love painting my hands with PVA glue and peeling it off, one thing I've decided I don't like about woodworking is glue-ups, because I get it everywhere. So now, lots of glue, 2 long 6-foot strips, and lots of clamps. Apply plenty of glue, do lots of wiping off. Always remember to do your wiping off and sorting out your overrun while it's still damp. I made the mistake of not doing that on this occasion. It was quite a warm day, so it dried up quite quick and had lots to pick off. After declamping, I noticed there was a couple of areas where the glue hadn't fully formed, or there was a slight gap where the wood had bowed slightly, so I went back and filled in the spaces with a bit of sawdust and glue just to make them invisible. Once we had a complete dry, I went back with the card scraper and cleaned up the edges where the overrun had dried slightly. So I get the same angle for my drill for the pegs for the actual hanging of the coats and things on this. I made a little jig. It's just 2 side pieces that run the side of the actual pole, and then the flat piece here I've already drilled the angle I want to off camera using my set square. I set it to roughly about 35-40 degrees, and I've got the angle I want coming down, so it means I can repeat this. I've drawn a couple of lines on here so I can spin it around to the back, and I'll do the same and move the jig around a couple of times. So I'll have 2 on here, 1 on the sides and 2 on the back, so it will give 6 pegs. I might even put 2 on each side, so there'll be either 6 or 8 actual hanging stations on this. Once I've done that, I can then start to build the base. So here we go, new drill bits as well. It's going to be entertaining. So to make the actual base of the coat stand, I'm going to make a basic cross which will go underneath the pole. I'm going to do half lap joint, so I'm going to hog out the width of the cross member. Do the same with the other, it'll fit together. Then there'll be a big bolt go through into the base of the actual stand itself. And then I'll put some extensions on the side at angles, and we'll tidy up these sides as well, make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So to start with, I've set up a stop block at either end of my crosscut sled, so I can go between the two marks that I need to do for the half lap. So let's turn the table saw on and do some monotonous back and forth for 5 minutes. After creating the stand for the base of the actual coat stand itself, I went back and sanded over all the upright and the actual base, starting off at 80 grit, and then I only went up to about 160. I didn't want to go too fine on this. To get the desired finish on the wood itself, I burnt it with my blowtorch, just to get the first part of the finish. I'm going to later cover it with some wood stain, so went over the whole thing with the blowtorch and got it nice and black. While it was still warm, I then went over with some mahogany wood stain. I left it on for 2 or 3 minutes, then I wiped it off with a dry cloth. To create the actual hangers for the coats and for the supporting stanchions at the base of the legs, I'm going to be using some 15mm copper piping. To finish off each of the coat hangers, it will be finished off with just a pressure fitted cap. I'm not going to be doing any soldering on this project. To allow connecting the copper pipe to the base and the upright, I flattened the ends off to give a nice piece for a 1.5 inch hex bolt to screw through into the wood. After watching far too many blacksmith videos, I made a little wooden anvil. And there it is, the I'd say 90% finished product. I still had to do some finishing touches to the copper, and I was short of a couple of pressure caps for the coat hangers at the top. So that is how I made my new coat stand. This is meant to be for my office, but due to the current situation, I'm having to work from home. So this is going to move into my office at the house, and as soon as we're back to going to my main work location, it's going to go into sit next to my desk there. I had hoped that the stain would come out a little bit redder than this. There was a choice of mahogany or dark mahogany, and I went for the mahogany thinking I'd err on the side of caution. I think if I'd gone for the dark mahogany, it may have come out a little bit redder when it was wiped off. But I'm really happy with this. One thing I'm going to do before it goes to its final location is I'm going to polish all the copper piping up. I have some metal polish. I'm not too happy with it. I've done a test piece. And it's no different than the normal piping, so I want to get some proper metal polish on it and really get these to shine and make them look nice. And the same for the stanchions at the bottom. So it's a nice solid piece. I think my team at work are finally going to be able to take their coats off the back of their chairs and put them on the coat stand. Right, I've got some more projects coming up. Well, I'm going to stand over here next to the coat stand. One of the other things I've got is I've got my sticker wall. If you've not sent me a sticker already, feel free to drop me a comment or a message. Grab me on Instagram. I love collecting stickers with the makers, and I'd like to send them out as well, so if you haven't already got one on mine, give me a shout. So top corner is going to be the subscribe button if you want to see what my next videos are coming up, and there's going to be a playlist down the bottom corner for any previous videos that YouTube will select for you. See you next time on Shaun in the Shed. It's been fun as always.